Okay, so let us continue the further what we were discussing in the previous session. So we were discussing, we have completed basic configuration of FI and CO, as if we can see that the class running notes here. So we just started the basic configuration of business partner. And also we were trying to discuss about what is the concept of a business partner. As we know, the many people's Venkat and Venu, many people's has given inputs in the previous session. Business partner concept, it is not a new concept in S4 HANA, as we know that, okay, based on the last conversation, what we have discussed. So whoever already were working on the treasury, especially treasury, okay, so the concept which we're using even in ECC also, the same roles are available even in S4 HANA system also. So the concept, what they were using, just it has been switched to FI, meaning that now vendor and customers are became a business partners. But now the question is that here, okay, we do not have much experience about the business partner. Earlier, yes, we know that we were able to create vendor and customer. Now, basically, before getting to understand that business partner concept, we know that ECC system was completely the authorization. Let's say now I am the one end user. Let's say Venu and we are all working in a team. So we might have playing the different roles in an organization. So what we were requesting earlier, even during the implementation side, if you would have participated in the implementation project, right? Definitely. So user would require access based on the transaction code. You know very well about it. In ECC, I'm talking about. Now S4 HANA, the moment when S4 HANA has came into picture, that concept has been overruled, meaning that the authorization for each user based on the transaction code, that concept has been completely overruled. Okay. Now in S4 HANA, the authorization is a role based. It's not by transaction code wise. So what is meant by role? A person who is going to play the role. Let's say now in the cash management is an accountant. Let's say now we have the different kind of roles also in finance also. Accounting clerk or else collections specialist, collections manager, cash specialist. Likewise, there are different roles are there. Based on the role, the authorization is going to provide in S4 HANA system. The same concept has been switched. I mean, it is available even for business partner also. Why we are discussing this role-based concept, right? For a business partner, if you want to extend a business partner, a customer, a vendor, yes, we have a dedicated role, standard SAP delivered role. We can able to utilize them. We can extend that one. So in general, what we were doing in this concept, in this business partner concept, there were multiple transaction codes which were using in ECC, like we to create the vendor, right? What we were doing in ECC system, right? We were as well as where the purchase vendor. The similar logic was applicable for customer also. But in S4 HANA, that concept, those transaction codes are completely decommissioned. Only the transaction code which is available BP, that is a central transaction code. But now the many people's may I mean, see, now there is a synchronization concept. How the synchronization concept which is going to work, that we can see that going forward. Okay, first let us understand here. Okay, now now the business partner, right? So let us understand, because in before going to define business partner numbers, first thing is that, as even I was talking about in the previous session, to creation of the treasury business partners, there is no interconnectivity would be required like vendor and customer. The moment when we are talking about vendor and customers, if those are not relevant, the required configuration in FI, vendor number range, customer number range, that is not required. Okay, so now business partner, right? First, let us define the business partners for M for customer and vendor. Towards end, let us see that one the about treasury business partners. Okay, because without understanding these things, again directly we cannot go and create. First, let us see this one. As we know that the concept of business partner is not, please take note, is not new in SAP, just for your information. In ECC, I'll put a point by point. In ECC, the BP concept was already available in Treasury in TRM module for your kind information. Then the same concept has been extended to finance module for vendors for vendors and customers for your information. Okay, so now what are the transaction codes? Okay, so now we will see that one while creation of, while extending that vendor and customer concept, right? Then we can see what are the transaction codes which were absoluted. Now, business partner. Okay, so now because the heading which I have kept here, let's say now what we need to do here. So okay, there are different configuration steps which we must have to perform. First thing is that before going to creation of the number ranges of business partners, vendors, customer, whatever it may be, what are the advantages? Why SAP has brought up this concept? Are there any advantages? First, let us talk about those advantages. Then after that, we can go for the configuration. Okay. So now I would say that the following, because I have been participating in multiple things which are introduced. Okay, as part of, because so those fields, those functionalities might be available in ECC also, but now there are few, the place to accommodate the particular field value, it is completely has been changed in S4 HANA. Okay, but by adopting that or by implementing the PP concept, we do have the following advantages. Okay, so now the first thing is that let me open the system here so that let us have a look at practically, because I don't want to explain the concept only this is what we need to work, this is what how it is going to work. Now see, we must have to understand the system functionality, because from business partner onwards, yes, we would require definitely a little bit focus here. Okay. So now this is a business partner. I'm not going to the vendor and customer. First, let us talk about this concept. Then later on, we can see. So the first advantage I would say here, the address perspective, yes, we can maintain the same information, name and other information. But one good thing here is that we can able to maintain multiple address in one business partner. Okay, so how it get the first in the address tab. So where we could see that address right now, if you go to the address overview tab, address overview tab. Okay, at this moment, this business partner, right, Sunny and Rati group, just for your information, I'm just giving the detailed information here. You could see here, this is the address which is having here at this moment. This is the address which this business partner is consist here, the language and other information, contact information which you can able to maintain here. The similar way, if there is a requirement for this business partner would require a multiple addresses, yes, what you can do, obviously you just go to the change mode here and you can add multiple addresses. I'm just showing in front of you only. Let me add a different address here. It come. Just okay. So now you could see here, it has been enabled to maintain the address again. Okay, you can just click on the create here. The system will enable another pop-up. So here you can also maintain the different address. So meaning that you can maintain multiple addresses. The point number one, which I have explained here. Yes, we have the feasibility to maintain the address here. The point number one, as I have mentioned, by implementing the business partner, the first thing is that first advantage is that yes, we can have one BP, one BP can have multiple, multiple addresses. Yes, the point which I mean in front of you only I have showed you. Second thing is that second thing, if I go to the identification here, in the identification, if I come down here, if I come down here, tax to maintain the tax numbers. If you remember in ECC system, we can able to maintain, we can able to see that if you go to the table, uh, customer master general data table, right? So KNA1, okay. So in that we could able to see the tax category 1, tax category 2, 3, 4, 5, you can able to see apart from the tax where you can maintain the tax or VAT registration number. So that is where how we were maintaining. Yes, we were able to maintain the wherever it is required country, and we were able to select the tax country, plus we were able to maintain the tax registration number, VAT registration number. But now, whereas in S4 HANA, that perception has been completely changed. So in place of the country, you must have to select the tax category here. But you may ask the question, so how the tax category can be decided? Who is going to, I mean, how we will come to know? If I take a drop down here, even you can also reach out to SAP if you would require any further clarification here. I could say here for India, right? Let me pick for India. Let us talk about, right? You could see here for India, there are three types of tax categories which are, sorry, two types of tax categories are available here. One is for TIN number identification. This is basically the tax identification number. Another one where you could see here IN2, IN3, India GST identification number. Okay, which one is feasible for you? You may ask the question again, sir, can we able to maintain only one tax category? No. You can also maintain multiple things, but system will not restrict it here. Okay. In addition to that, we are talking about third party. Let's say now the customer or vendor, which we are going to convert this BP as a vendor and customer. That we can completely agree. So now let's say I have mapped the tax number here is for India. Let us assume just maintained this number, GST number. If this business partner is a third party business partner, hope you understood the difference between third party business partner, intercompany, and one time. If this business partner is a third party, then obviously the tax category would require one tax category. Anyhow, this tax number print, which is going to print depends on the, okay, when you are going to printing the invoice, depends on your text configuration, which you might have done. In addition to that, let's say for intercompany customers or one-time customers, let us talk about the one-time customers. So one-time customers, where it's a separate table, it is there, BSSC separate table, it is there. From there, it will derive the tax numbers at the time of creation of the orders, right? We must have to maintain the orders over there. That anyhow, that is a different setup, different logic would be required. But now, for intercompany customers, the moment when we talk about intercompany customers, right, it may require multiple tax registration numbers would be required at that point of time, right? Definitely, even we would require different. See now, let's say now we are importing goods from, let us assume from Singapore to India or Malaysia to India, or we are exporting India to other country, where even the supplier also from other legal entity, which is the same organization, but still at this point of time, right? Yes, definitely, we would require multiple tax identification numbers here. So you can also maintain multiple tax identification numbers. So in ECC, we were having the tax category 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That has been completely overruled, where you can accommodate the tax numbers here in this place by selecting the tax category. Okay, just for your information. Then tax category to be maintained in one place. Yes, with the multiple VAT registration number. Please take note. Now, VAT registration numbers. Here, I would like to tell you one more point here. Let's say now I have entered, let us assume this is my VAT registration number, VAT identification number. Until S4 HANA 2022, please kindly take note, this may use a lot for you. Okay, I'm just giving my past experience, I'm just keeping in front of you. What was happening? Let's say now I have entered this VAT registration number. Let us assume, let me try to let me highlight this point. This is also important because so now what system has done here? System accepted the number what I have maintained here. This was the same functionality which was available until 2022. Please take note, until 2022 system, see now in general what we can do, if either this VAT registration number is valid or not, we have in the Google, it's a VAT calculator, it is there. Okay. So now if I go to here, VAT calculator, if you go here, then online VAT registration number, VAT calculator in India, and VAT identification number. There is in the Google, right? You can check that one, how to identify the VAT registration. I used to go to here, VAT registration number. You can just enter the respective VAT registration number. Then you could able to validate that VAT registration number. search the tax calculator. So there are different options I could see here which are available. But now this is also a change in S4 HANA 2023. What is happening if it is a live system, right, which is connected? If the VAT register, this number, it is interconnected to the VAT portal by default. Okay. So what system does, the moment when we enter, when we try to save this number, system will not, I mean, system, first of all, system is going to validate that business partner VAT registration number then and there only. If the number is a valid, then system will allow you. Even though number is not valid also, there is a pop-up will pop. I mean, the system will notify that one, will give a information by saying that this VAT number is not valid. Okay, please validate in the portal. Okay, that is the mechanism which SAP has been introduced from S4 HANA 2023 onwards. For your kind information, if you want, right, you can check in the SAP help also. Yes, I'm sure, because recently we had seen this one. We had not recently, last 1 year, 2 years back, we have implemented the same functionality. So that is the reason I'm just giving information for you people. Okay. So now point number one, the VAT registration number, the VAT registration number, the VAT registration number validated by the system from S4 HANA 2023 onwards. Okay, so just for your information, this will be benefit, I'm sure about, because during the migration, if the VAT registration number is not properly aligned, right, definitely it will have an issue. Okay, the tax printing, VAT registration number printings and all, it will create a lot of conflicts. Now, coming to that, under controls, we could able to see that BP type authorization group, that depends on that one. Okay, we can select this one. The payment transactions, yes, this is the same what we were having in customer and vendor. Okay, but now the same bank details which we can able to maintain here. Identification, country, bank key, control and IBAN number also, alias information also, which we can able to maintain. But now, so there is a new, the moment when we talk about the bank information here, how many people, the moment when I see this, right, I would like to highlight here one point. How many people know about, just I'm asking the question, you people, do you know the concept of alias? Can anyone please? Hello, is it my voice is audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. So I'm asking the question, anyone aware of the functionality of alias? Okay, no problem. Let me clarify here. So what is the functionality of alias here? Let's say now the business partner, the name here, Sunny and Rati Group Limited, what I could see here. What will happen when we receive EBS statements from the bank? There are different criteria are there in order to process that EBS file. It could be based on the identification of the name, based on the identification of document reference number or billing document number, or it's a vendor number, customer number, check number. There are different criteria are available in the system. Depends on the client specific also. We can keep the separate interpretation algorithm with help of the technical team. Yes, we can also achieve that one. But let's say now the customer requested us, okay, when bank is sending ABS statements, so sometimes the name would be a Sunny and Rati group. Sometimes they mention this Sunny and Rati only. Though the system has to identify, our system need to, the program, the EBS program need to understand the moment when the name is presented, Sunny and Rati, not, it would not require to present all the information, full name of this customer, full name of this business partner. Though the system has to consider this name and process the payments. Because anyhow, the name is matching here. That is the criteria. So now alias, right? So the multiple names where we can maintain, there is a separate role here. Go to the financial service BP here, but in general, in ECC system, you may ask the question here. I'm not sure whether you people are following or not. But see, now this is the functionality in let me go to here in the financial service BP. Go to additional names. Okay, go to additional names tab here. You could maintain here business partner alias information here. Since it is relevant, why I'm stretching this point, going forward, we will be focusing more and more about, because major all the transactions in the treasury, which includes cash and liquidity management also, it is important to understand the EBS process. There are different mechanisms are there. In that, this is also one of the way to clear your EBS statements. You could maintain multiple business partners names here, multiple BP names here. You can maintain. So based on that, the system will identify and the system will process the EBS statement. But the another question is that what was the approach if the same functionality would required in ECC? What is the what was the way we were following? Okay, completely this alias information was not part of in ECC. Okay, what we were doing, we have defined a custom logic in order to understand the system, the naming convention. Though what we have done, what we were doing in that custom logic, we were able to map the customer number, alias name, and also we have developed a small and additional field, call it as a active and inactive, meaning that whether that alias name would required valid or it's invalid. Okay, if the checkbox is the custom logic, what I'm talking about, the custom logic which we had implemented in ECC. Based on that, system was clearing that EBS statements. But in S4 HANA, that concept has completely overruled, meaning that that does not require, first of all, if you want, you can bring the same functionality, whatever you have in ECC into S4 HANA. See, there is no point to bring that one. So in place of that one, yes, sir, SAP is already provided the required functionality. They are saying that you can come back and maintain that required names here, then system can understand this one. Okay, for your kind information, how the alias functionality which is going to work. This is place where it is we can able to accommodate the multiple names here. Okay, how we can, just let me show you here what I can do here. You can maintain in this way. You can maintain multiple naming conventions. How? But this information, right? You and me, we cannot decide for your kind information. Business has to confirm on this one. Please keep in mind this one. Always we would require business help. Then, business inputs, based on the business inputs, we can accommodate this information. Okay. So now again, moving back to the general data section. So we were trying to discuss a payment transaction. In that payment transaction, even IBAN number and the alias information we have discussed here. Now, coming to that status, okay, that is fine. It's a block indicator where we can able to see that where user list, okay, that is fine. Additional text. In case if you would like to see the BP name into the different languages, yes, we know that the same concept which was available in the general ledger accounting, right? GL master data. So now you could also see here, you can also maintain multiple languages to be appear that BP name here for our kind information. Now, we just seen about the general data of the business partner. So what are the important things? And also let me put here alias information. Alias information can be used to clear the EBS statements. EBS statements by identifying the name of BP, customer, vendor for our kind information. Okay, so now we have seen that one. Now in the general data, only these are the fields are available. You may ask the question, okay, only these are the fields are available means no. If you select this role, right? Let's say now FI customer here, FLCU. I'll talk about the roles later point of view. Please kindly allow me some time. First, let us understand this one. This is important, very important, very, very important thing, all these things. So now here, right? The moment when I select the role here, FI means finance customer, you could see the additional fields which are coming into picture here. I can see here. But now if I go to the control data also, control data. So now you could see earlier, if I select this only that business partner general data, now the trading partner option, which was not enabled the moment when I select this role, yes, it has been appearing now. Now go to the payment transaction, that is quite common, and the status here. Yes, status and all legal data. Earlier this was not appearing. Now this is also appearing here. Again, customer general data. This is the place where you can able to find out what is the group. Meaning that the moment when we are creating a customer, when we are creating a business partner, right? What is the group? See, FI customer assignment. What is the group, customer group? We have been used to create this customer. So you must have to see, I mean, identify here, because in general, if you go to the T00, sorry, I mean, BUT 000 table, you can able to identify the business partner group in order to create this number. Okay, what is the BP group which we have defined and what are the number ranges we can be able to find out over there. The similar way customer number, right, you could see here. And in addition to that, in case if the supplier, right, you could see here where we can accommodate in the customer. If there is a concept to call it as a, even we were doing the similar in ECC also. Let's say now the customer is a vendor is a customer, where we can interconnect that one. Now you could see this is where you can interconnect. If this could be a customer, this could be a vendor. Here in the customer general data tab, you can accommodate that information for your information. Again, you could see here plant, location, code, that is not relevant for finance. Physical year variant. I mean, other information, right? You could also see here. Now, moving to that, customer tax data here tax type and all this. Right, now customer additional data. So some additional attributes may be required here just for identification purpose or some information purpose. This is also just identification. Customer country specimen. So now this is another information. In ECC, right, we were able to maintain a customer would require a PAN number, as well as GST number in India, if we talk about it. Okay, so now where we can accommodate that number, CST number, central sales tax, and other information in case if we are following that, right? First thing is that basically we must have to maintain the TDS number is important for us. The moment when we talk about when this customer is eligible for the TDS means tax deduction at source. How we are paying, being as an employee, we are paying every month end tax, income tax, right? We are talking about in general. So if the customer is providing services to the to people, then definitely this customer also is comes under or falling under that criteria, TDS number would require. Then in respect, at the same time, it would also require to maintain the PAN card number here. Must have to maintain the PAN identification number in order to deduct the tax. This is just for your information. Okay. What are the fields which are available? Yes, in ECC system, I still remember to maintain the PAN card number, there was a separate place, even exactly I don't remember, but I still remember separate configuration step was there in ECC system. But now this does not require you, no need to maintain in a separate place. Yes, you can accommodate here itself. Okay, because still I'm talking about now, if you go to that, right? If you go to that, I mean, still still I did not move to the company code for your kind information. Still, why I'm talking about all this information, right? At the moment, I have selected customer finance accounting role, but still I did not select a company code option, right? Because company code fields the moment when we select this one, but still these are all falling under general data only. I'm not talking about a company course specific. Please take note, okay, for your information. Now, additional we have seen about, then we have seen about this one. Country specific also we have seen, okay, country specific customer country specific enhancement too, I could see here. Then credit profile, okay, this would require a credit profile, that is fine. We'll talk about that one in the credit management. But for your information, the fields whatever we have seen, which are all relevant for your general data section only, okay, if at all, because I did not select any company code, still I can say that these are all relevant for your general data only. Okay, what we have seen, then what is the table? Okay, the table and all we'll talk about later. Hope you understood the concept of business partner. What are the new things which are, which fields are enabled by the S4 HANA in the as part of S4 HANA system, as well as, and also what are the advantages of those fields? Okay, so now if you have a ECC system, you can compare what I have explained. But in addition to that, especially this is a new role which has been introduced by default, right? This financial services BP. The moment when you create a business partner with the general role also, this role will be by default, it will be enabled this role. FS 000000 financial service BP. What is the use of this one? Okay, let me select this one. Now, if you remember, let us say now our organization is a manufacturing organization. So we want to sell the goods, the manufacturing goods to the customers. The moment when we are dealing business with customers, let's say now I want to sell my lap. Let us assume goods. What will happen? The customers, many customers may approach us for a for their requirement. But still, right, we cannot give uh, credit to unknown person. What is the financial position? Simple logic. Let's say now I wanted some loan from the bank, or else I want some credit card from the bank. What the banks does? Usually they'll go for the credit check, credit verification based on your credit score, based on your commitments, they will decides, but some amount they will offer that one. Even the loan, either credit card, whatever it may be. The similar logic, because how the bank should know about my financial position means based on the background verification, okay, based on the certain the legal documents which we have given to that bank, then based on the verification, they have identified that information. The similar concept here also, the moment when you select a financial services business partner, so now here, right? So now you could see here what is the rating of the customer, meaning that there are different kind of the ratings and all. Yes, I can show you in the there are websites are there who is going to decide rating of a organization. Yes, in India there are different credit rating agencies are there, even other countries also, that I can show you. But now, based on the rating, either a customer is a good customer, very good customer, bad customer, medium, average, how you can decide that one? How you can decide that one? Based on the customer financial position. Okay, you could see here based on the external rating means the ratings are internal and external based on the, let's say now customer is dealing business with us from the past 10 years. Yes, the management come to, definitely they will come to know what is the customer financial position, whether they are doing the payment on time or not. Okay, if the management want to decide, they can go for the internal rating. Internal rating depends on their feasibility. Yes, they can you. But if it is external rating, right? Yes, we are going to get the information from external multiple sources. Yes, we can accommodate that information. This is the first point where you can accommodate customer rating. Now, the business partner, same logic is applicable for Treasury BP also. Credit worthiness data. The moment, basically, these fields are used in the credit management especially, and the same, because if you wanted to know the financial position of a customer, right, we must have to validate. But I'm not talking about the customer and vendor, I'm talking about what are the fields which are available in S4 HANA, which are the new things has been introduced as part of S4 HANA. That is what we are discussing here. So these are the fields, right? Credit worthiness data. If we talk about, right, whether customer is eligible, worth to offer the credit limit or not. So now how you can decide based on the ratings, based on the other information, right? Yes, we can decide. The management can decide. The most important here is a ratings and credit worthiness. That is each the organizations may implement these two fields or may not. But now this is important for each and every business organization. When see now, if the management wanted to know, if the management wanted to know what is the financial position of the, what is the financial position of this customer, how they will come to know. See, you could see here previous year, go to year. See now, year wise financial year statement, balance sheet total, equity capital, meaning that here what we are maintaining here, the financial position of this business partner, we are maintaining, we are getting the information where the auditors conducted by the audit, where they have finalized their balance sheet. That information we are mapping here for our information. Okay, the values which we are for better understanding, for management understanding purpose, yes, we are going to maintain that values here. It's a depends on the, even you could see here previous year, next year, and also each year wise also you can go and you can see that. So you could see here stock capital, in case debt ratio, what is the annual sales, what is the annual net income and net losses. These are all the information. What is the dividend which they are going to issue? How they will come to know all this information? This information the organizations are going to ask to the customers, ask to the partners. Okay, when you want to deal with the business with us, you must have to provide this information. Yes, that information will be confidential only, but still right? You could see some organizations. See why I am stretching this point. The moment when S4 HANA has came into picture, right? So in every interview, there was a question about this concept. When we are going and attending interviews nowadays on credit management, right? So now, even nowadays also, this question they are going to ask interviews multiple times. I won't be faced. Even multiple times, right? Even I would have there as a panel. Yes, I was asking this question, but majority of the people I did not hear. 90% people did not know that option. But still, that is the reason I'm just stressing here. Now moving to the next one here, right? Because these are all the features which are came into as part of S4 HANA. Now go to the additional data in case if you would require any additional, right? This is just information purpose. Go to the additional information. For yes, this collateral and all other this relevant for credit management. We can talk about more, and also the we have seen about a physical data customer segment, the additional names. This we have already seen this one. Okay, but especially which I was talking about, what are the new features, especially if any customer financial data where we can maintain in the S4 HANA system, right? This is the role. The role FS 0000 financial services BP. Under this role, you can able to maintain information of the your customer or vendor. Okay, majority of the cases this could be customer only, because vendor we don't require. Vendor is supplying goods to us, then we are paying the amount. That does not require. But for customer case, yes, obviously this should be required here. Okay, for your information. Now the new feature which has been introduced in the BP role, I'll put in this way, to maintain the customer or BP financial statements, information for okay, to provide credit, to provide credit or to okay, to provide the credit, then we can maintain, sorry, maintain the required information. We can maintain the financial information under BP role, under BP role. So now FS, let me put here is a financial service BP. Because we have seen, we have been implemented this functionality for one of the client very recently. We have implemented because but still that business took the decision. Okay, what are the financial information? That it's not our job. But where the business was asking, yes, the standard system itself fulfilling the requirement. Okay, we have seen that the majority of the, even there are n number of fields are there. We just understand what are the advantages. Okay, which are available in the EBS statements. Okay, we have seen that high level. Now, let us go to that. Hope you understood. If anyone have any question before going to the other, right, the same business partner only, which I would like to start the configuration for vendor and customer, and I would like to provide the tables and other information. If anyone required any clarification, anyone has any question, so please kindly let me know.
So, Vijay, one point, Asha this side. In the FI,
Yes, please.
the financial services BP role, where we are maintaining the data based on the fiscal year, the credit rating keeps changing for a customer year to year based on the credit rating agencies like ICRA and CARE, etc. So is there
Mhm.
any way like we can maintain 10 years of data, fiscal year data with the different values in that tab? Or we
Yeah,
can
you
maintain
can
only one
you
at a time?
no, you can maintain. Okay, that doesn't. But now, right? If you are moving from ECC to S4 HANA, is it required? Is it really required to maintain 10 years data?
Because the
See,
credit rating keeps changing year by year. Today
that
business is
see
performing well.
that I totally agreed with you. Okay, if you would like to maintain, yes, the ratings you can accommodate. Even if you select the role of UKM 000, that is a credit management role, there we have the more feasibility to maintain the credit ratings instead of here. That I can say. Second thing is that your question is more relevant for financial data, right? So where you want to maintain the financial position of that, yes, you can maintain. Okay, you can just click on this one. Yes, what you can do, you can maintain the respective financial year, balance sheet of the currency. Yes, you can maintain how many years you want, right? Yes, you can maintain. It's a depends on your feasibility. Okay, you
And
can
all
maintain
these
10
things,
years.
yeah, maybe you can correlate once we move to the credit management part, which all exact fields information we are fetching it from the BP, and what are the important fields for
Yes.
credit management specifically.
Exactly, exactly. Yes, that is what that is what even I'm not stretching more and more, which I'm not talking about more also credit management. Okay, because again it will deviate that one. Okay, that is the
Right.
reason. Yes, what are the role is completely different, right? The question we may face in the interview, if I have the financial information of my customer, where I can accommodate that information. Okay, that kind of question we may face. So to answer to that question, yes, so this is the place where we can able to maintain that information.
And one more important tab,
Okay.
relationship. Actually, when I am dealing with a customer and customer is a big customer, they have the different head office, different storage location, different warehouse from where they are supplying. And all these have the different, all these have the different address. They are in the different countries. Then via relationship tab in the header, I can maintain the different address and different phone numbers and etc. But in the general address tab, we can maintain one address, and
So
here we
here
can.
basically, yeah, sorry to cut you. Basically, in the relationship tab, yes, we can maintain different contact persons. So now contact person, as you have highlighted, right? Let's say now there is a head office, there is a branch. So each one has a different contact person. Let's say now in Bangalore, we have one head office, Chennai, one head office, I mean, one branch, other locations. So branch wise, yes, we can able to set up that contact persons. The contact person we can interconnect the respective, right? So how the address will be derived? The again address will be derived from the your where you can maintain the general data only the address as well as the email ID to respective to trigger that correspondence to that contact person, right? Again, the source here is that either you can maintain the general data level, the email ID, the respective information, right? The respective information which is going to system, which you can system will consider the email IDs either you can maintain one or two from here, or there is an another option. If you go to ADR6 table, yes, you can also maintain that level. This is the source. But now, right, relationship level, whatever information you have at general data, yes, from there only the system will trigger that one address, meaning that here if you have the different contact persons, yes, the contact person has a different address and that has the different email ID, but again that contact person also the source is a general data only. Am I right?
Yeah, but general data we can maintain one address at a time. And I think ADRC6 table we have to use where we
Yes,
can
yes, yes,
based on the
yes.
contact person different.
Exactly, exactly. Yes, yes, that I can completely agree with you. Okay, that is what I mentioned. So, and also the multiple contact persons. So, what was happening here? Even this is also, yeah, thank you, Ashu. Thanks for the highlighting this point, right? This is also one of the important thing here. In ECC, right? In ECC, what we were doing? let's say now we want to send the information to the, let's say the moment when we deal business with customers, which I'm talking about contact person, right? A relationship. We want to send the correspondence information, which is sales invoices to the customers. Yes, where the customer email ID you can maintain here in ECC, that email ID system was considering and it was triggering based on the mapping. Here you can also map multiple email IDs. Okay, if at all. Okay, if I go here change, yes, I still remember we can maintain. But in addition to that, there is a different. If you go and check in ECC in the, let's say now customer perspective, let's assume the KNB1 table, there is a another field, call it as a accounting clerk and the accounting clerk email ID. Okay, in the finance level where we can, if I go to company code, clerk internet address, let me pick this one. Maybe I can show you here. So now in the correspondences, right, where you could see here, clerk fax number, clerk internet address here. Clerk internet address, right? This is also another new functionality in S4HANA, meaning that this is same has been carried from ECC to S4HANA. There is no deviation in that. But now, if you have multiple email address here, basically this field which is dedicated for multiple email addresses. So now you cannot accommodate multiple emails. Yes, you can accommodate, but still system will not read that address, that email ID. So that is the reason, as we were talking about relationship, we can create a individual contact person for each email ID wise. Yes, we can interconnect that one. Okay, so it depends on your requirement. This is also one of the new functionality which I can say in S4HANA. You can create the respective contact person and you can interconnect here in the relationship tab. We can able to, even you can, one customer can have 20-30 contact persons. So there is no limitation here. Okay, but that is depends on the business requirement. And also how to trigger that the correspondences, yes, it depends on the function codes. There is a concept function codes and other things are there. Okay, that the person who is working, then they need to take care of that one. Okay, this is also one of the information which we need to take into account. But okay, just for, but in Treasury especially, we have the separate setup for to send the correspondences. So that is the reason I did not stretch it more about this contact person. Okay, if it is a more, this concept is more and more relevant for customer and vendor. Okay, that we can see that one. Okay, still any questions? If anyone has any question about this BP concept, so please let me know. Okay, fine. If there are no further questions, right? So let us start the configuration.
Vijay, sorry for cut you. Can you go for
Yeah,
the
please.
BPT code and we can able to see the BP financial services, sometime description, some I want to see the that BP role like FLCC0. How I need to display that role? You getting my question?
1 second. Yeah, could you please come again?
Yeah, you can see display BP role right here. We can see the description as well as role also like 000. That is the
I
role
understood.
and
I
description.
understood. Okay. And sometimes you could able to see only
Only
description. You
description.
could not able to see the
Yeah,
role, right?
yeah,
Yeah, that I understood. See, basically, this is a your GUI setup.
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so basically what you need to do somewhere, right? I still remember options. Somewhere we have to accommodate theme settings. Somewhere define custom colors. I think visibility too. I think this one only. Okay, visualization too. Show placeholder characters. Okay, this one show this information you must have to activate in the
Okay.
visualization too. Okay, please take note. If
One,
anyone
one minute.
required it, let me copy. No. I'm
I will
just
take
keeping in the
group. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
in
Better.
the chart, right? In the group chat, you can accommodate. Okay, you can just pick from here, just for your information. I'm sure If these things would have not activated, right, I'm sure, yes, I completely agreed with you. Sometimes, sir, I can able to only see the naming convention of the business partner role. I am not able to see the role how you are able to see in your system. Okay, I completely agreed with you. Okay, that is because of that one only.
And
Okay,
Okay.
hope
to
you,
use this
yeah,
BP,
no,
actually BP is the last transaction code where we maintain all the addresses, all the data. But before that,
yes,
we have the bunch of configuration activities like creation of the BP account, number ranges, account groups, BP roles, then
yeah,
link
that we can see, that we can
ranges.
see, that we can see. See, we are just beginning, right? We are just discussing about the different, what are the changes between ECC and S4HANA. Yes, those setup, anyhow, we must have to do all those things. Otherwise, right, we cannot create any business partner. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I thought it's part of FIC, so might be you're skipping that because
No,
our
no,
main
no,
focus.
no, no, no. I'm not skipping. See, we would require customers, vendors. Why we are discussing customers, vendors, right? We wanted to see one end-to-end cycle of EBS, okay, along with by executing the F110 for cash and liquidity management. Very, very important one. Without having this customer and vendors, right? It is a very difficult for us to understand that concept. That is the reason. See, why I'm stretching, why we are discussing all these things. These are the, I would say, I can say it's a, um, I can say that it's a pre-configuration. These are all the dependencies before going to start cash and liquidity management and treasury. Okay, we must have to have all this set configurations in place. Then only we can able to complete that cash management as well as liquidity management, any other things. Otherwise, right? Yes, we cannot complete that one. Okay, these are all the predefined, or else it's a pre-configurations, okay, which would require for us.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
so now let me, yeah, no problem. Yeah, now enterprise structure, sorry, cross application components, SAP business partner, basic settings. Here you could see that the business partner roles here, define BP roles here. You could see here there are a number of BP roles which are given by the SAP, around 158 business partner roles I could see here. But in case if at all, if you require, right, you can also create new role, depends on your requirement. But even till now, right, I never seen any customized role. Yes, in that existing role, in case if business would require, yes, we have accommodated the new fields. Okay, in case if at all if business would require it. But still, right, the new role, I maybe other people might have worked, but in my past experience, I never worked at this area. I mean, I did not see any requirement from the business point of view, okay, to have the separate BP role. But whatever SAP has been provided, these are the roles which are going to fulfill our requirements. Yes, in case if there could be any additional fields to be aligned with the existing functionality with based on the business to fulfill the business needs, right? Yes, definitely we can able to accommodate that one, that we can in the standard role itself we can do that one. Okay, now these are all the roles what you could see here. So now if you could see, the moment when you are going to create a business partner, the general role is the common. The general role, meaning that first initially system will generate the BP number, either internal number, external number, whatever it may be. It will be created with this role, general role. Then after that, once the BP will be created, you can extend that role to the whatever you want, the required roles which you can extend. Okay, just for your information. Now, so these are all the roles. Yeah, as you already aware of these roles, come back. Now, BP roles grouping. This is also we may need to understand here, right? You could see here. Okay, so now bank customers. It's also BK K01. It's some customers somewhere this real. I mean, if at all if required, right, they can use this grouping also. They can use it. Okay, grouping of the business partner roles. Say now, let's say you want to that the customers is a group together. Now account holder, authorization, drawer, correspondence, receipt. So this business partner, meaning that the moment when we are going to map this particular role to that particular BP, the person, okay, no, the BP role, who is the authorized person, he can be able to, he is the account holder, he is going to withdraw the amount, he can able to receive the receipts, meaning that the statements. Okay, that is what you can also group multiple things. But here, right, majority of the things below I can show category groups. Somebody has defined here. Okay, somebody has defined, but here I don't think this one. Let me go first one only here, right? See define BP roles. I can show you here. This is only important for us now. Let's say now FLCU 00. I'm talking about the FI customer. You can select here. This finance customer is going to play how many roles? Double click here, categories. You could see here. See now, vendor, it is going to play the vendor, builder, plant. So multiple roles which is going to play. Okay. The moment when you select this one, then only you can reach to this one. Okay, you can just for, I mean, again, you can also see that BP roles category. See now. Categories which are all, I mean, it's not maintained here, but still, right, the groups, roles and categories here. Okay, so these are all the roles which you could see here. These roles are associated with the multiple categories, meaning that it's a classification of the roles. Okay, vendor, customer, I mean, it's a counterparty. Okay, the issuer. So there are different roles are there. Depends on contact. I mean, depends on your requirement, which you can choose this one. Let me come back. I'm not going to stretch about now. Coming to that number ranges and grouping. Define this is the important for us. But now, the moment when we are defining the number ranges here, first thing is that please kindly keep in mind the number range, what we are defining at business partner level. For what purpose we are defining? The number ranges would be for customer or vendor or treasury business partner. Keep in mind, this is very, very important one. In case, first let us, in case if the numbers are relevant for your customer and vendor, there is a prerequisite. So what is the prerequisite? Anyone? Can anyone tell what is the prerequisite before defining the number ranges at BP level?
Yeah, we need to creating the BP group. Then only can assign the number ranges to BP group.
No, that is clear. That see the number ranges, we can create group and all, that is clear, Venu. Okay, so there is a prerequisite before going to creation of the number ranges here. Okay, so before going to define the number ranges here, what is the prerequisite here? Okay, let me answer here. The prerequisite is that the moment when you are creating that, let me go here, right? The first thing is that the first thing you should have a clear understanding from the business. Are we going to keep the same BP number as your customer? The synchronization concept, right? So first thing is that, okay, you must have to keep in mind whether the both numbers would require to sync or not, meaning that your business number is going to equal to your customer number or vendor number. First, keep in mind, okay, we must have to aware of this one. If it is a synchronization, if business want to keep or have the same numbers, your customer number and your business partner number, then what we have to do, you should not create numbers your own. Okay, let me go here. I can show you here. Let me define the now. Okay, let me go here. How we can identify in ECC system by taking the drop down, we were able to identify the numbers. I mean, which number is a freely available to pick up that number, to consider that number. Yes, we can able to map that number. We were utilizing. But now right here, if I go to here, free intervals, go to intervals and click on free intervals, you will come to know, yes, these are the intervals which are available. Let's say now, if you want to consider this number, if you want to map this number, any number, right? This BP number, you cannot go your own at the same time. You must have to check in FI also whether that frequency which is available. Let us assume this is for a customer. Let us assume the numbers which we want to sync, the numbers, right? The BP numbers which we would like to keep in sync with my customers. Then financial accounting, customers, right? Master data, reparations. Let me go here, create number ranges. So I must have to compare with the numbers here, free intervals. The numbers, what you could see here, this is for my customer, this is for my business partners. Can you able to see that these are the numbers where I think one series 10200 which is starting. I could see here 105,000 which is starting. So we should not define the number ranges whatever we want, our own. So because yes, you can define. I'm not saying that the system may create some issue and all. No, yes, you have a feasibility, always you can create it. But only thing is that, right? Only thing is that the numbers what I was trying to show here, these number ranges will be misaligned. The number ranges, right? The number ranges here, what I could see here, which may misalign, meaning that you may have the different number in place of customer, you may have different number in the BP. So at that point of time, there could be a chances, right? So the business people may get into that, may get confused here. Okay, if they have the different numbers, as we know, this concept we are calling as a synchronization concept. Everybody knows about that one. Okay, so that is what in every implementation, every migration project, right? Creation of your before creation of before creation, one second, sorry, just somebody's calling from this. Sorry. Now, what I was trying to explain here, right? So we must have to understand the business requirement. If the number ranges, business would like to sync between your business partner and customer and vendor. Yes, before creation number ranges at BP level, right? You must have to validate and verify what are the number ranges. But now in real time system, we may not face that conflict, in the sense, right? Only once we define number ranges, yes, we can. But still, right, even in the real time environment also, if you want to define it 20 or 50 BPs, different types of business partners, right? We must have to be careful about, because the number ranges should not be overlap and should be in sync with your customer and vendor. Okay, that we must have to take a appropriate cautious, okay, when we are doing that one. Okay, let us compare here. So now business partner numbers. Now if I would like to map here, so these are all the freely available intervals that we can see that one. In addition to that, what are the freely available number range? Okay, range number, that also it should be in sync. In addition to the number, first, in order to synchronize between your BP numbers and customer and vendor, first thing is that then this also, the number range, this naming also should be in sync with your BP and customer and vendor along with the number ranges. Okay, let us see that one. What are the number ranges which are in available? Based on that we can see. So 92 series which is available, 926000600 I could see. 926, sorry, 92, yes, we can accommodate here. 926. 600 640 600 92640 710. Seven 12 here. I could see that 712. $731. Let us check in case if there is any number. 8 series also fine for us. 82600 200. 8 series itself is somebody might have used already, so that is the reason it is not showing here. Okay, 9260600. Let us try to accommodate here only. 722 here I could see. 722. So 731. Yes. So let us. Okay, here we have the frequency. So what I can do here? What I can do? Let us define the BP numbers. So it's already been defined, right? So let us define this one, the number, right, which I would like to define here. Then, so the number which has been defined, okay, is still this has to be trim, okay, according to our requirement. First, let us define here. So now what is the number here which is available, right? Okay, so now, yeah, let us trim the number range. These are all the prerequisite you must have to, okay, either you can define, but at the same time, it's a better to have this one. Okay, 31 to do 31 to let us give. We don't require much numbers here, right? 40. Okay, so the same numbers which has defined here. Okay, and also try to save this one. Its system has to accept that numbers. Okay, just this is for customer perspective, right? Which we have defined. Then let us go back. Let us define the continuation. This one now. 9 to 7. 41, right? This one. Okay. B. Max. Okay, select the interval. 41 to. Let us give the number. It's up to you. At least you can give the two intervals. 50 max 10 numbers is enough for us. Okay, if at all, if still you want, right, you can define this one. Okay, however you want, you can define. Let's define one more. One. This one. Okay, so these are the, let us keep these three for vendor and customers, but still, right, treasury business partner related, I have not defined anything. Okay, treasury business partners, yes, I can define towards end of the this BP configuration. Okay, so as a prerequisite, right, as a prerequisite, okay, that configuration also even. First thing is that business partner path. Let me define number ranges. Okay, I'll keep a first let me copy the path, then after that I'll keep the note. Note is very, very important one. The prerequisites what we have discussed, we must have to before creation of BP number ranges, before creation of, okay, validate the customer vendor numbers if client want to go for synchronization. Okay, so client want to go for keep in sync PP and customer vendor number ranges, vendor numbers. Okay, just this is a prerequisite you must have to understand. Okay, the similar way we have defined this one. Okay, now the group, right, the number ranges should be aligned. Now the groups, right, however we want the next step only, yes, we can define grouping and assign number ranges. Yes, we must have to define that here. Right. So the grouping, right? However, you want the naming convention, even it could be differ. Okay, just for your information, the name here, the BP group name could be differ. Your vendor name could be a differ. Okay, because the same name, this is a central place, right? Let's say now it's a central BP you have created. The same number you want to extend for customer. Yes, the naming convention could be differ. Okay, the naming even that grouping names differ also. Yes, system will not, I mean, system will accept that one. There will not have any conflict for your information. Okay. So the numbers, right? Yes, we can create the number ranges in the tomorrow. I mean, the groups we can define number ranges. But before getting to that, right, I want to show, I mean, I want to keep all together in one place. BP numbers. Okay. So one, this under this, right? Usually I used to follow this process. BP group, BP number, then BP description. I'll put it in this way. How to follow this one, right? This is important for us. Now, BP group. Just a second. BP group description. BP numbers. BP numbers. Then assign numbers. Assign number range. Assign number range. Either it could be a internal or or external. This is for the BP. Then the same be should be required for customer, right? Customer group, then for range, then it could be internal or external. Internal or external, okay, which we can see that one. And also that synchronization, yes, we'll see that one. Okay, this has a separate setup, this has a separate setup. Okay, we will see in the next session. The BP groups has not been defined, right? So that is the reason the number ranges, yes, number ranges, I'll keep it. We can see in the tomorrow session, okay, how the number ranges which are going to sync this one. Then towards end, I'll create the treasury BP. Okay, any question? So that the business partner, yes, still we would require, I mean, another some more time to complete that BP configuration. Once this is getting completed, right? Once the BP concept is getting completed, then we would require, then I will enter into the consistency check. Then after that, we'll go for the bank accounting. So still we are continuing our basic configuration only. Okay, definitely it would require 1 or 2 sessions, I'm sure, to complete this one. Any question so about the today's session? So please, and also just for your kind information, few people's IDs which with me, I mean email ID, contact person, whoever has already shared, yeah, really thank you for them. But still, right, other people's IDs I do not have. It's we see some people